We have met our responsibilities. Now, it's time to turn the page.
As President Obama officially announces the shift in strategy from Iraq to Afghanistan, many experts criticize the move as going from bad to worse. President Barack Obama has made a live televised address to Americans, marking the official end of combat operations in Iraq. He said the war is now a closed chapter and praised the US military for helping to give Iraq back to its people. Although combat soldiers have left the country, 50,000 US troops remain there to train local forces. In his speech, Obama reiterated his pledge for full pullout in a year's time. This, he said, will free up money to aid economic recovery. Resources will also be diverted to Afghanistan for intensified operations against al-Qaeda. But Obama added that withdrawal will follow there too in due course. However, journalist Mina Al-Arabi says changing the name of the mission won't help Iraqis in their everyday struggle.
There is some sort of political system in Iraq. It's flawed, it's dysfunctional to a great degree because of what the US itself brought into the country in 2003. However, there was an election that 60% of the electorate went out and voted, actually 66%. So the fact that Iraqi people went out and actually gave their voice and didn't boycott the election said that they believe in one way or the other in this system. It's flawed. The fact that we don't have a government 5 months after the elections is a huge problem. And it just shows you the fact that the Obama administration continues to talk about this change in mission, regardless of what's actually happening on the ground in Iraq, is very worrying. There's two completely separate timelines, two completely different discourses that people are having. In Baghdad today, no one actually cares about the fact that the operation is changing name from Operation Iraqi Freedom to Operation New Dawn. It means nothing to them. What they care about is the fact that there's no government on the ground. They're worried about what's happening in the streets. Violence is escalating, assassinations are escalating, and basic services are still lacking 7.5 years later.
Well, veteran Marine and anti-war activist Adam Kokesh says the shift of attention from Iraq to Afghanistan is just another way for the top players in Washington to profit financially.
When you go into the individual characters that are responsible for the invasion of Iraq, the imperial motivation, it's very important to make sure that we're not ascribing this to a conspiracy of a handful of men, but really a conspiracy of factors that are much more systemic than that continue to this day and will continue under this continued occupation of 50-something thousand troops and indefinitely under our influence in Iraq. The reason we're able to draw down in Iraq is because the powers that be in America that have always sought to have more war, that have always sought to concentrate more power, that have always benefited from the increased borrowing and spending that comes with war and the inflation that comes with war, will always seek to convince the American people that this military adventurism is in our best interest. And now they've found a better scam with Afghanistan, having elected President Obama, saying that Afghanistan is the good war, we're going to go over there, and that's where the fight on terror is. Never mind that Osama bin Laden is completely given up on now. That's the underlying dynamic, and I think that's what's missed. And there are a lot of other dynamics. There are always things that we can't control when we go marauding abroad.